Well, hey, welcome to Northern California and to Redwood National Park. We're here, it's a little bit rainy, but I'm sure the trees love it, and so do we. So we're going to go inside and take a look at these gigantic trees that have stood with the test of time and see what else we can find. So join us at Redwood National Park. As you probably already noticed by the sign, this is a state park as well as a federal park. The National Park Service operates this area in cooperation with the California State Parks and Recreation. And we headed in from the south on the 101, the Pacific Coast Highway. We were immediately met with the coastal Pacific Ocean environment. Established in 1968, this national park comprises about 140,000 acres. It's comprised of several large state parks, and the one we spent our most time in was the Prairie Creek State Park. It has the most scenic drives and probably the most popular. Our first stop was the Cuchelle Visitor Center, which is the southernmost visitor center closest to the coast. We stopped here to talk to the rangers, and we got a ton of information. We're so glad we did. The ranger there gave us the best trails to hike, the best places to see, and what to do. So I'd highly recommend stopping here. They've got gift shops and restrooms that are conveniently located, exhibits, and other things that you may want to see. We're right here, and we're only going to explore this little area along the coast, but I always love these models. But look how far this canyon goes all the way into the interior. It gives you a sense of scale and really how big this area actually is. Like I mentioned before, the restrooms are conveniently located outside, and the hours of the visitor center is 9 to 5, like most visitor centers, and there's also no fee to enter this park. Once we talked to the ranger, shopped around, got our postcards, and Debbie got her stamp, we were anxious to head out to see the park. We're back on the road again, heading north on the 101, but you're going to want to exit on 753. It's the Newton Drury Scenic Parkway. This is the one that goes through the park and has the Prairie Creek State Park area that you want to explore. We arrived at the Prairie Creek Visitor Center. It's one of the older visitor centers. It's kind of small, same hours, but we wanted to stop here to not only get Debbie's stamp, but just to take a look around and get more information. This is actually where we spent most of our time because most of the trails that we enjoyed all begin right here at the visitor center. So once we parked our car, we were here quite a while. But it was time to head outside and do some trails. So let's go. We decided to take from the visitor center, the Prairie Creek Visitor Center, decided to take the Carl Knapp Trail to the Big Tree. That's just one of these large redwoods that you can stand beside. The whole trail is 4.3, but you can turn around once you get to the Big Tree. So it's just 1.5 miles. So that's what we're going to try to look at first. I was immediately struck with just the incredible beauty of this place. The water, the trees, the air. The air was almost too healthy to breathe. It was incredible just immediately just looking around. Man, just expect like a Tyrannosaurus or something to come out of the woods. Even the path was soft, and my neck just started getting sore the first 5 minutes because all I could do was look up left and right, look up and down. It was just amazing. Look at this. They're everywhere. Look out there in the woods. Look at that.
No kidding. No kidding. If you're like this.
Look, Debbie, you can almost reach around it.
You want me to try?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Look at that. That's like a skyscraper. These trees start from the size of a tomato seed, and they can grow as high as 370 feet and weigh 500 tons. Imagine from a little bitty seed to a monster, a behemoth like this, bigger than the Statue of Liberty, unimaginable. It's just too much to take in, and I don't even know if video or photographs, pictures could even do it justice. I don't think you can imagine how enormous these trees are. And the ferns, I mean, how beautiful. What a diverse and beautiful country we live in. Everything from the prairies to the Everglades to the canyons, the Grand Canyons to the geysers, to these behemoth live trees. These living creatures. It looks like this tree was killed by fire. But just to kind of give you, I don't know if you can see, an idea how big they are, I'm just going to step inside this tree. I mean, I'm actually inside the tree. I mean, good grief. Look at this. Another amazing thing is, redwood is pretty impervious to rot. So when one of these trees falls, it can lay here for hundreds of years because it's just not going to rot. I mean, look at this stump, for instance. See this tree that fell? Well, they obviously cut it, but out of the way of the path. But if you look at the rings on this tree, it looks like it starts about here. But I'm just gonna just for the sake of right here, if we count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 rings about the width of my finger. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. You get the idea, right? And we didn't start in the middle. Good grief, that's the other half. Whoa. Oh my goodness. And these things are alive. I guess you couldn't move it anyway. You might as well just cut a hole through it. I'm so glad that this trail is short because we are just taking our time. And I'm also glad that it's smooth and soft because we never look down to see where we're going. It's just amazing because it's like a whole city of skyscrapers, but they're all alive. I mean, can you imagine how much energy went into converting all of this sunlight and everything into wood? It's just unbelievable that everything's converted into these living creatures, these living trees, giants, tall as buildings, just about as heavy too, I guess, if you put them all together. Not only do you have trees growing out of the ground all this time, but you have trees growing out of trees. I mean, look at that. Debbie, just look at this tree. But look at it. That thing's like maybe 15 feet wide, maybe 20. Okay, we've come upon another split in the trail. The Carl Knapp Trail is the one where we went on, and we just walked 1.2 from the visitor center. But we're not going to continue on that trail. We're going to head to the big tree, they call it. I can't imagine anything bigger, but we're going to go through this, go this way. It's a little bit shorter to see the big tree. And here's the thing. We've been to Congaree National Park and seen some big trees. Lots of big cypress, fall cypress, lots of big pines and champion trees that they have there. But it's nothing like this. I mean, these trees are just overwhelming. I mean, look.
This is not the big tree.
And this is not the big trees. Hold your arms out. Look at that. And this is not the big tree. This is the big tree. It's just incredible. You just got to see this. I mean, you can see the statistics for yourself. But, wow, man, this is just really awesome. Can you just see a bunch of Ewoks hanging around on top of that? You'd have to be a Star Wars fan. Just amazing. How beautiful. The Foothills Trail would be just a little too far. We've already walked a mile, so the circle trail loops back around. We're going to take that. If you look at this huge redwood that's fallen over, which could you even imagine how loud it must have sounded? If you notice, the roots here are from another tree that's actually growing on the top of this. That tree that's growing on top, I don't know how old it is, but it's been growing long enough to get that big on top of, there's one on the other side, two on the other side, have been growing long enough to get that big, and it goes to show this tree's not even close to rotting. But look at the path. Can you see the roots on the path? I mean, I guess this whole hillside with trees this big, I guess the whole thing's just a mass of roots. This is the last day of August and it's nice and cool. Probably about 70 degrees. It was a little rainy and cloudy when we first came, but it hasn't rained at all now. We came across this road, Cow Barrel Road maybe. It's a little dirt road that we were crossing it on the trail, but we decided to just head back down this road. It connects back up with another trail that's just a little closer way back to the visitor center. And you know, you still get to see, golly, I'm still looking at these trees. It just cuts off a little bit of time, but it's getting a little bit late, and I think they closed the gates at 5. So we'll need to get in the truck and head on. We got lots more to see, and eventually to our hotel up in the northern part. We're heading north. We came into the park from the south. We stopped at First Visitor Center, then we stopped at this Prairie Visitor Center, and then we got to head on up north to our hotel at Klamath. And then we'll come back down tomorrow and see the rest of the park.
Hey, Bill.
Look, as far as you can see, blackberries. And they're still blooming. Look at these. There's some blackberries right here. Look at that. And I'm just fascinated. Look at the blackberries. Can you see the blackberries just hanging on these bushes? Man.
Sticker bushes.
Yeah, sticker bushes. I would love to. Man, look how many there are. Somebody's been through there. Probably an elk or something. Maybe a bear. It's nothing better than a blackberry cobbler, I'm telling you. Okay, here we are. Back at the Elk Prairie Visitor Center. Yeah, look at those blackberries. Now I'm going to have some cobbler. I'm sorry I was so excited over the blackberries, but you know, the park ought to open a restaurant. They could sell blackberry jelly, pies, and cobbler. Anyway, we headed back out and we started north heading up to Klamath, which is where our hotel is. And we're on that scenic parkway again that's just beautiful, and you're just captivated by the trees going by. It's almost hard to pay attention to the road. The next morning, Debbie and I headed back out and we traveled south from Klamath, where we were staying, down to see the Fern Canyon. One very, very important tip is that you have to have a day use permit, that you have to make reservations online ahead of time. And I would suggest doing it very, very early as you can, months in advance. This place fills up quick. and you cannot get in, and they will check unless you have that permit. So make your reservations ahead of time, because this is something you are not going to want to miss. It's one of the highlights of our trip, and we were so fortunate to get to see it. It was fantastic. So this is one of the must stops that you've got to go to. They will check your pass here because parking is limited. You'll cross a little stream. It's very easy to do. You don't need four-wheel drive, but you're headed down to the parking lot that's close to the beach, closer to the coast. You'll drive by elk meadows, and if you're lucky like us, you'll see elk, and this one was even bugling. Well, we made it to the end of the road to this Fern Canyon where the trailhead begins. There's bathrooms, plenty of parking. Don't forget you have to have that permit and display and even then pay another $12 state park pass unless you have the annual pass, and then it's all free. And our goal is to find that banana slug. I want to find the banana slug. You know, one of the things about this trail is that it's very shaded with the canyon and cliffs and ferns and vegetation, so it's pretty dark. Your lights come on in your vehicle all the way up the trail because the forest is just so dark, even though we're right at the coast. It's very damp too, so it's quite cool. You might need a jacket, maybe a light rain jacket. The park recommends or suggests that you have some sort of water shoes to cross these little streams. We didn't bring any with us, but I've noticed that they had added these little footpaths that cross the water, so your feet never really get wet. They actually filmed part of Jurassic Park here, and also BBC, that World of Dinosaurs. Some of that was filmed here as well. Look at all these maidenhair ferns just hanging down. Look at that. Let's keep moving. This place is so lush and green and beautiful for one main reason, and that's water. Moisture in the form of fog and rain flows into this Fern Canyon and just produces just so much greenery. And there's another little critter that likes moisture too, and we're still looking. I don't know if you can tell on these walls, but even the bank, the wall is just covered in moss. It's solid moss and a lichen type. It's just amazing. Look at it. Oh my goodness. Look at that wall of fern, man. And these big ones. Man, air is almost too healthy to breathe. Well, we're getting deeper into the canyon, and we're walking on the river, a little creek side, the bank, and lo and behold, look who came to pose. There's a little fella just sitting out on the log eating the wood. Not very big, not very yellow, but a banana slug nonetheless. Look at this beautiful, just basically a drip waterfall. Just goes right up the moss growing, and it's falling from right there. You know, it's just absolutely incredible how beautiful things are and how diverse things are. Imagine the deserts and all the cactus compared to these beautiful, lush, green ferns and plants that live here in this area. Look at here what I found. The infamous banana slug. We finally found our banana slug. What a beautiful little invertebrate. Just incredible. I guess they get bigger and brighter. At this point of the trail, it winds up and out of the canyon a little bit to a little higher elevation. You follow the stream for a while, and then it forks off and goes up. Still in the canyon, but just not along the stream. As you can see, we're up above the stream, which is down there. We're up a little higher above, I guess, walking the rim of the canyon. Okay, we reached the top of the canyon here, and you can choose trail forks in different directions. You can go back all the way back to the park headquarters if you really wanted to. We're going to go back down to our parking area. It's just a third of a mile. Definitely worth the walk. And look, right here on the trail, it's another banana slug. So this is where we entered the canyon, and we walked along those streams at the very beginning, up through, follow the stream up through the canyon, and then back around the canyon rim. That is the Fern Canyon Loop Trail. Here's about where we started. We were able to find the banana slug. We might not have found the biggest, brightest, and specimen, but we certainly saw them. From the parking lot here, we decided just to walk down to the beach, and I think there's various paths. There's a coastal trail that walks for miles along the beach, but we just want to go down here and see it. So haven't seen the Pacific Ocean in a long time, living on the east side of the country, but here it is. And you know what's really really cool is here's the ocean, right? Pacific Ocean. And behind me, we were just in this canyon. We were just in here, this canyon. The ridge just goes right up here along the coast. Being from the East Coast in Florida, then is nothing like that. Everything's flat, but here, there's what, maybe 700 feet elevation, just right off the coast, and all the ferns and fresh water running into it. And then here you've got the ocean. Just little wildflowers along the way. Very different.
It's there.
Those were big waves. Okay, well, we made it back from the beach. Nobody got wet, but almost. Those are some big waves. But we're going to head now back through the park and up to the radar station. It's an old World War II relic left over from during the war. Kind of a secret place where they built a house and a barn, and it kind of, as a disguise, they put a bunch of radar equipment in it. It's one of the few sites even left from World War II. So we're going to ride up there and take a look at that next. This is called the radar station, B-71. It was a World War II post. Actually, you can see it down here. It was built like a house and a barn, but it was full of radar equipment during World War II. So after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, they thought they were coming this way. So Japanese, so they built on the west coast here some sort of mile defense or disguised a radar station within a house and a barn. So it's real close. I just think that kind of thing, history is fascinating. So we're just going to walk down there real quick and take a look at that. It's just a short, it's easily missed, and the parking's not very good. Oh wow, there's another banana slug. Don't step on the banana slug. You have to walk this trail down to it, but I'm sure it was once, used as the road, but couldn't you just imagine a little wily Jeep buzzing down this road? Still think this is so interesting. Very, very, very few World War II landmarks left, or any kind of structures like this. Well, whoever was stationed here had a great overlook at the ocean, although it was a terrible time. Pearl Harbor just bombed and everybody's scared. Anyway, I just thought this was fascinating. Not much here now except just the structures. Radar was in its early stages too, so interesting. You can read more about this, I'm sure, online. Well, what a fantastic national park and state park. California has its best up here, buddy. We just enjoyed this so much. And I think the big difference between canyons and rivers and mountains, which are all beautiful, this is a living park. It's just incredible. It's like you're walking through or driving through the belly of a forest. The biggest trees I've ever seen, all the way down to, yes, the little banana slug. So this is the one you got to see. It's just incredible. It's so much different than the others because it is just, everything is alive. So come and see it, Redwood National Park, and we'll see you next time on Travel Our National Parks.